Hey everybody, my name is Aaron Shane. Welcome to Habitat Now. It is a true honor to have artist Kathleen Elliot joining me from California. Her and I have worked on a new offering called the Summer Trellis, which we'll talk about soon in this exhibition that we have online for you to look at and enjoy and possibly acquire. That being said, I'm going to go through a little housekeeping right now. Hopefully I had my PowerPoint up, which I don't. So give me 2 seconds to click that bad boy and get it running. And I will take over your screen and get this going right about share screen right about now. So, let's go. So if every week we have these Habitat Zooms every single Saturday, next Saturday, you're welcome to sign up. We're going to be talking about the Masterworks auction. It's the 41st Masterworks auction, which is online right now on our Habitat Masterworks website. You can go to the top of our website and click and look at all the pieces that are up for auction. There's 50 of them. That auction will be part of our international I'll talk about here in a second. But these Zooms are all online every single day. To join us, in this little hamburger button up here, click Zoom, and you can sign up. We also email them to you if you're on our mailing list. Our glass cruise is filling up, going from port to port this summer. So if you have any desire to explore Europe and check out glass exhibitions and institutions and museums and studios, we've been doing these trips since the 90s. So it's an incredible experience. So our Glass International is coming up beginning of May, May 1st through 5th. Make sure you're here to be part of Glass history. There's going to be so much fun. We have over 30 artists attending. This is a picture of an ad we did locally, and the VIP passes we're going to be giving out. This is the auction I mentioned a minute ago that's online now, and there's some treasures in there. But you're invited. Come and join us in May. We have the hotel near the gallery, the summer center we worked for years. Both the auction and the artist talks are going to be there. Something new is artist Alex Bernstein is going to be speaking this year as well. Krista Israel was supposed to come in and join us for this event, but family issues, she can't come, and Alex stepped up. We're grateful to have him be part of our event. And everybody's going to be there. So make sure you are too. We're so looking forward to seeing you in early May. Without further ado, I'm so excited to talk about this long project that Kathleen and I have been working on, coming up together with something that she's wanted to do to create something, an experience-based piece where you're able to collect in your own idiom and style. So, Kathleen, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Aaron, for having me. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
So grateful to have you. So I'm going to show a short video, right? And you're welcome to talk over it. And you did a little flame working example for us, correct?
Yes.
All right, let me get it going right here. This is brand new video too. You just made this.
Yeah, just made this yesterday. So this is flame working. Traditionally, it was called lamp working because centuries ago, people worked glass over these little oil lamps. But now we have these nifty torches that run on oxygen and propane, and they enable us to make really big stuff that ancient people were not able to do. So I start with the hollow parts, the fruits on my sculptures are made with clear tubing, and I add the color by melting in colored glass powders and little chips that are called frit. So that's just ground up glass.
Hmm.
And I lay down a background color and then add colors to it. So there's no paint on these pieces. It's all glass.
It is a serious torch you have there.
That's a serious torch.
They say that flame working is the loneliest glass art form. Is
Yeah,
that true?
there you are. You and your torch and your glass, just doing it, doing it, doing it.
What do you often do while you're doing this? Are you completely 100% focused on what's in front of you? Or do you have a TV on, Netflix running? What is it usually like?
I have audiobooks.
Mm,
I am constantly listening to stories. I discovered this app that accesses the library's audiobooks for free. It's fantastic.
yeah, I've heard of that. That's great.
Yeah. So here I'm melting in these colors and blowing it out. I just used 2 colors for this video, so it wouldn't take forever, but
Hmm.
normally on a piece I do layers and layers of color to get the organic surfaces that I create.
So with this offering, every piece is made to order. So you're actually doing this upon order of a piece, making something just for those people who are collecting this summer trellis. And I'm gonna do a little intro video, little intro dialogue about you when the video's over while you get your computer ready.
Okay,
But you've taught a little bit around the world. You've taught in Japan.
I taught in Japan. Yeah, that was a fantastic experience. I was supposed to teach in Turkey a couple years ago, but I caught COVID. So here I'm sculpting. I'm making a what I call a lantern pod. And I'm sculpting, putting details in. I pay a lot of attention to adding detail to the glass. I'm going to step away. I have one of those vacuums. I'll be right back. Sorry.
No problem. I'll read what a little bit about Kathleen while she's away. So Kathleen had a prior career in business education, helping companies achieve their strategic objectives. And while working in the semiconductor industry, a friend who had done scientific glassblowing, who specialized in laboratory apparatus, introduced her to a flameworking glass in his garage. And she took it up as a hobby and later committed to being an artist. She knows the glass world for her realistic botanical sculptures. She's known the glass world for her botanical sculptures, and she exhibits her work in museums across the U.S. and a few international places as well. And we talked about how she teaches in the U.S. and in Japan and maybe Hungary in the future, maybe who knows where. She's had 20 solo exhibitions, been in over 60 multi-person exhibitions, has been over 30 public art exhibitions, and his work in 6 permanent museum collections, and we're hoping to add some more real soon. Lots to your process, though. Look at these cool tools you have.
Yeah, this is a grabber so I can hold on to the hot glass and finish it. I'm adding a stem to this pod. So this video, we really shortened, cut down the process just so you could see the completion of one whole pod.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll show you my work and you have a sense, oh, that was one pod.
When you make these pods, let's say, I think the pod piece has like maybe 3 or 4 pieces on top of it.
Yeah.
And so you make each pod first and then connect them, store it. Do you keep them hot still as you store them? Or does it matter?
No.
No?
When I'm going to make a piece, I make all the parts first. I make
Gotcha.
the branch or the vines. I make all the leaves, and then later I come back and assemble them together into the piece.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so you can go ahead and take
Okay.
over, and
All
we'll
right.
see your presentation
Okay.
in
So
a
that was a
second.
little taste of flame working. And then I am going to, so what I'm going to do is talk through my work, the development of my work, what inspires me, and all that sort of stuff. And then I'll get to the project that we're introducing today.
Great.
So let me share my slideshow here. Hopefully this works. Here we go.
And we're in business.
Can you see that?
Yep, we're good.
All right. This is me and my best friend, Brent, my husband, at our daughter's wedding last year. Let's see, how does this work? How do I do page? How do I change the page? There we go.
Picture of you guys.
This is my family. We have 5 kids, all grown up, and 3 grandkids. Just a really rich, amazing family that feeds me every day, my heart and soul. This is how I started in glass. After my friend introduced me to flame working, I started making glass beads. I bought a book and a torch and all the stuff, and following pictures in the book, I taught myself how to make glass beads and jewelry. And at some point, I decided, hey, this is what I want to do. So I decided to be an artist. And I went to Pilchuck Glass School, which is outside Seattle. It was founded by Dale Chihuly, who does these amazing art installations. And my first year I took a class with Laura Donefer, who's a glass blower. I thought, I didn't really know about glass. I thought, well, if I want to be an artist, I have to do glass blowing. So I took this glass blowing class, and Laura said, what are you doing here? You should be in flameworking. So I went back the next year. I went to Pilchuck for 3 years in a row for summer sessions. My second time, I studied with Robert Mickelsen, an extraordinarily generous teacher. And flameworking is super hard. Afterward, I couldn't really do anything. So the next year, oops, I went back and took a class with Fero, another incredible teacher. And during that class, everything really clicked together. My bead making, Robert's class, what Shane was teaching, and I started doing botanical sculptures. Why do I do these? Because outer space, and then down to the tiniest details of life. These two juxtapositions of this immense mystery that we have no idea how do we get to, wow, it's just immense mystery. And then down to these itty bitty details of little seeds and leaves, and somewhere in between these two amazing contrasts, we get to be alive. We get to live and create our lives in the midst of this giant mystery. And that's what plants remind me of. That's why I make these botanical sculptures. That's why I'm surrounded by plants, because they remind me of life and God and the mystery and wonder. These are early pieces. I love this piece. I didn't at the beginning have a controller on my kiln, and I left for too long and came back, and it had gotten too hot. So fantastic. So I want to bring that whole sense of wonder and the amazingness of life, the mystery of life. I want to bring that into these art pieces. In the beginning, I spent an enormous amount of time really looking at plants and trees and leaves and fruits and vegetables, and figuring out, how can I bring the beauty and the wonder and the texture of these things into my art. I spend a lot of time experimenting with different color combinations, different ways of applying the color, how to layer the colors to get these organic surfaces. So all of these works are really about my love of plant life and nature, and how it reminds me of God, I guess. Not God as in the mystery of life.
Yeah.
So I want people, I hope when people look at these, they will say, wow. They'll have that feeling of, wow. Even if it's only that, wow, glass can look like that. Even if that's what there is there, I'm happy with that. Because what a great experience. I think the most alive we can be is when we are in wonder and being curious about something. Look at those surfaces. I love that. Pears are my favorite thing to make.
Got a quick question from the audience asking if all your pieces done in boro.
Yes, they're borosilicate glass, which is a brand of glass, a type of glass, different from what people use in the hot shops making those big pieces. A common brand of borosilicate is Pyrex. Imaginary botanicals. This is another series I do where I play with reality a little bit. I have spent 30 plus years studying philosophy, linguistics, alternative spiritual disciplines, and they all point at questions of what is real? how do you know what's real? And if we question into our solid beliefs about what is real, new worlds open up. So I started this series of alternate reality, botanical life, just inventing what might plants be like in other realities. And again, I want to evoke that feeling of, oh, wow, look at that.
Those are beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I made those. I don't know how to go back. Anyway, I made that other piece and the pods were so weird. I thought, that's too weird. I put them away for maybe a year and came back to them. And so this piece is about, I don't know, 24 inches tall. I had the opportunity to meet and have some teaching by Carlos Castaneda. This piece is called, I Wonder Where Castaneda Landed. This piece is in the permanent collection of the Oakland Museum of California. It's called School. This piece was a departure for me. It's called Angst. And I wanted to bring something really personal to an art piece. And I have struggled with depression for much of my adult life. My father and brother have the same struggle. And I wanted to depict what does that feel like, but in a plant form. So this is called Angst. And that little apricot is stuck down in this vine with thorns on the inside and the outside.
Mhm.
I have a series of tumbleweeds I do, and cyclones. Here's another piece called Angst, which is that little apricot stuck down in this spiny cyclone, Arctic cyclone. All the cyclones hang. They're suspended from the ceiling. Blue moon cyclone, back to those castaneda pods. And then one day I heard about GMOs, genetically modified organisms. What the heck is that? And started poking around and learned about food and how our processed, pesticide laden, modified food products are affecting our health. And so I started making this series I call Questionable Foods, with these weird sort of constructed fruits made out of soda cans and food boxes. I made this papaya piece after I heard that the papayas in Hawaii are now all genetically modified.
It's always interesting the first time you saw a real banana versus what we eat.
Oh, right. So different.
Shocking.
Shocking. This is a giant corn. I think this is about 32 inches long, and it's full of Roundup labels. A bomb with children's cereal. Bullets. I have a whole series of bullets. And some of these pieces in this series have no glass at all. So one of these ears of corn is maybe almost 5 feet tall. And I cut out from food boxes all those little kernels. This is about 36 inches long. I heard about these genetically modified strawberries that are 3 times as big, but have the same amount of nutrition. So I made that. I love this piece. So I'm really proud of this piece. These are flame worked children, all stuffed with candy wrappers, food wrappers.
What's this piece called?
Sugar children.
I knew it.
Yeah. And then I do commissions. Here's a living or a dining room I did for a client and made this installation. kind of harmonized with their chairs. A client of mine bought this antique bird cage and asked me to make a piece. So I put a vine breaking out of the cage.
Hmm.
It's called Liberty. That nook above the fireplace there, this client wanted some kind of piece in there. So I made her a garden.
Hmm.
It's really hard to photograph because of the layers of the piece and the color, but all of the botanical elements are movable, so she can rearrange them. Here's a studio shot of a few of the panels. And that brings me to our piece that we're introducing today. This is called Summer Trellis. And I kind of went back to the trellis idea, but in a different way. I find myself lately being less enamored with objects sitting around my house and wanting to have them on the wall. So that was one of the inspirations, was to put a botanical piece on the wall. And I wanted it not to be just a static piece that sits there, but it's a living art piece in that all of those botanical elements are removable and can be moved around and rearranged, and people can buy whichever ones they want. So I called this Summer Trellis, and it includes some of my favorite things to make, the pears and pomegranates and the pods. Here are the individual pieces. Each of these is about 7 by 7 by 3. And after the slideshow, I'll actually show you one, how they work with the trellis. Oh, how do I go back? Can I go back? Previous. Okay, on the left, those red pods, that's what I made in that video, is one of those pods. So that's it.
I love the coloring. So I'm gonna go ahead and spotlight you for everybody, so if you can show them
Yeah,
the piece, and I have a question for you while we do it. Where are
okay.
some of your favorite places to go in nature or to study plants?
Oh, wow. In San Francisco, we have a botanical garden that is mind blowing. They have amazing stuff there. I like to go there. I walk the neighborhood, and it's kind of funny because I walk with my husband, Brent, and I notice all the plants and what's happening with all the plants and the trees through the seasons. And I'll say, hey, look, there, whatever tree is doing whatever. And he walks and he says, oh, look at that Cadillac, whatever over there. I don't even see cars. So
This is
even
the
just
piece.
every day walking around. So this is one of the pieces that goes on the trellis. And each one has this hook out the back that you just slip onto the little cross sections of the trellis. That's that one. Let me show you. Here are the pomegranates.
Mm, beautiful.
And it's got the little hook on it. So it's super easy. So all these can be moved around the piece.
Such peaceful pieces and such detail. It's amazing
Mm,
work. Congratulations.
thank you. So that is the trellis. This is before sandblasting. After I make the pieces, I sandblast to take this super shine off.
Hmm.
Look at the difference. That and that
Night and day.
makes a huge difference.
Someone
So
asked a question about the trellis. Is the trellis made of metal?
yes. Yeah, I don't make the trellises. I just buy the trellis. Yeah.
So
And it has hooks to hang it on the wall.
it's a light steel apparatus that mounts to the wall, and then you can hang the unique sculptures as you see fit.
Yep.
Yes. You said pears were your favorite.
Yeah, I love pears. Look at that texture, that surface. So
Mhm.
beautiful.
A lot goes into every piece. Just watching you make it at the beginning, let alone there's a whole finishing process with sandblasting. There's a lot that goes into every piece and a lot of love.
Yeah, there's a lot. It is really a lot of love. It is my heart and soul in these. These are just, these are my first love in terms of making art. And as you can see, I have plants all over my house. It's just my, I just love it. What
Someone
kind of,
asked, yep,
the torch? I'm using a Carlisle CC burner. It runs on oxygen and propane.
gotcha. So I'm gonna take over the screen again
Okay.
and talk a little bit more about the trellis just so I have everybody's attention. They're new. The size of the trellis is about 52 inches tall, and you can design yours today. They're on our website at habatat.com, and also there's a link in the chat that will take you to our blown away shop we're putting up soon. But Kathleen's work is on there, and you can kind of see them all from the talk. And there's a certain amount of per pieces that are allotted, so there's about 12 available of each unique style. Maybe you want all pomegranates. Maybe you want to just dabble back and forth. What's great about this is Kathleen has made the offer to work with you to create your piece just for you. So a little bit of detail as we go through. She said they're about 7 by 7 by 3. I had different size, but they're all handmade, so they come in about the size that she described. And they are just incredible pieces. Each one is made with a labor of love, and it's great to see how hard she works to make these things come to fruition. Maybe you're a big fan of pears like she is. I am. That's for sure. It's one of my favorite fruits. Look at that detail. And it's you can see like your depth of color and how long you've been doing this to make these things
Yeah.
look like they're not from a cartoon. I always really enjoyed your body of work too, where you made your own plants, your own reality of plants, because it goes to show how deep you're in to it that you're able to play around and create.
Yeah. I love
This is
it.
one this
Thank
is,
you.
this is one of my favorites, lantern pods, and I'm glad we had a chance to see you construct one. Let me see if there's any more. May stop sharing my screen too, and I'll see if there's any more questions in the question box down here. Here we go, chat. Got the torch question answered. Let me see. Okay. Um, there is a body of work that we just saw. Is there a way we can see this presentation again later? Yes, this presentation will be posted up on YouTube on the Habitat Now YouTube page. They'll also be linked on the Habitat page. If you go under the hamburger, click the Zoom button, you'll see all the previous Zooms on that page as well. They all link to YouTube, which makes it real easy to find everything in one place, which is great. So thank you, Kathleen, for joining us today and sharing your story in this body of work. I'm grateful. Should you want to be part of this great process and talk to Kathleen about what you'd like, let me know. I'll put you in touch with her. Love to see a piece come together for you should you be interested anytime. Next week, we're going to be talking about the international auction, so make sure you sign up for next week's Zoom. And if you have any questions about this body of work, contact Kathleen or myself anytime. Thank you all for joining me.
Thank you,
Have a great
Erin. Thank you
weekend.
for coming, everybody.
Great to have you. Great to have a glimpse into your world. Have
Thank
a,
you.
have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll talk real soon.